our Fourth Amendment rights. If confirmed as Director of National Intelligence, I'd make sure that there is no further Snowden-type leak in the future, and that those who have concerns have legal channels to raise those concerns so that we don't violate and release our nation's secrets.
And all right, well, shoot, I'm with her. I'm with her. Like I said, I just don't understand the whole. She's a Russian collusionist because she wants to end the war with Russia. So peace with Russia means you're a Russian collusionist. Don't make sense. They're trying to tie her in with Snowden when I don't even know where they got that from. They just kind of like pulled that out of thin air, and it became something until the hearing came up apparently. And the third thing, well, I don't really know. The third thing is that Trump appointed her. Like those are the two things I guess they were really trying to pin her on. But shout out Tulsi Gabbard. Shout out Tulsi Gabbard for holding it down. I think she got it. Guys. Well, hopefully.
Hearing, Senator Durbin asked you about, Mr. Patel, early in this hearing, Senator Durbin asked you about the January 6th choir of inmates whose song you promoted, and here's what you said. I did not have anything to do with the recording. I did not have anything to do with the recording. Do you stand by that testimony, Mr. Patel?
Senator, what I said was I didn't do the recording.
You said you didn't have anything to do with the recording, which is interesting because here's what you told Steve Bannon on his podcast. So what we thought would be cool is if we captured that audio and then, of course, had the greatest president, President Donald J. Trump, recite the Pledge of Allegiance, then we went to a studio and recorded it, mastered it, digitized it, and put it out as a song now releasing exclusively on the War Room. We. If you had nothing to do with it, Mr. Patel, why did you tell Steve Bannon and all his listeners that you did?
That's why it says we, as you highlighted.
Yeah, and you're part of the we, right? When you say we, that includes you, doesn't it, Mr. Patel?
Not in every instance.
Well, that's new. So when you...
we as in the team, which means my team could have went out there and did it. Him being part of the Trump campaign team, that doesn't mean, I was right there doing it. It just means that, my team, which is we, was out there. Yeah, they did that. He's like, not every time. So that's why the whole we was in there. Oh, wow. Huh. Like, how is that even a point?
You said we, you didn't really mean you. Is that your testimony?
Not unless you have a new definition for the word we.
Oh, okay. I always thought we included the person who pronounced the word, but maybe not. Well, you also said this, Mr. Patel.
As I just kind of proved, you can say we and like me and not be y'all. You not be there. It means like we as it in the team, we as a family, we as a business, what?
We were able to capture the recording thanks to their courageous singing, and we were able to take it to a studio. So let me ask you, Mr. Patel, after saying we took it to a studio, did you take it to a studio?
Me personally, no.
After you said that we digitized and recorded it and all that, did you take it to a studio and digitize and record it?
Me personally, no.
Okay, so you were lying to Steve Bannon and his audience. Is that what you're saying?
No, I was using the proverbial we appropriately, as you've identified.
The royal we. Oh, I see. And so you certainly promoted the hell out of it, though, didn't you?
I don't know what that means, but I promoted the heck out of raising money for families in need.
With promotions on social media and saying you were going to get this to #1 on the billboards, right, Mr. Patel?
I think it did.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Isn't that great? People who violently attack police have a #1 song thanks to you, Mr. Patel. That's something to be really proud of.
I don't know about that now. That's wild. That's a wild reach, my friend. It could just be people who are patriots or like Trump would like to listen to that track as well. But hey, okay.
Now you've claimed, Mr. Patel, you didn't know about any of these people in the choir. Is that right?
I did not know about the violent offenders, and I did not participate in any of the violence in and around January 6th.
Tell me, Mr. Patel, what due diligence did you do?
And shout out Big Wave Davey says Schiff has no credibility at all whatsoever. Man, okay. This man might as well just shut up right now.
To find out who was in the choir before you promoted their beautiful music. These people assaulted law enforcement. What due diligence did you do?
Senator, I didn't record it myself.
So you did no due diligence before you promoted this song by these violent felons. Is that what you're telling us?
Senator, I did not record that myself.
So you're being considered for director of the FBI. And here you did no diligence to find out whether people you were associating with now the President of the United States in song were convicted of attacking police officers. Is that who we want running the FBI? I want you to turn around. There are Capitol Police officers behind you. They're guarding us. Take a look at them right now. Turn around.
I'm looking at you. You're talking to me.
No, look at them. I want you to look at them if you can, if you have the courage to look them in the eye, Mr. Patel, and tell them you're proud of what you did. Tell them you're proud that you raised money off of people that assaulted their colleagues, that pepper sprayed them.
I'm sorry, but like, I'm sorry, but what? That don't even make sense. Like, what are you saying, my man? Like, he's trying to make this about January 6th, but I thought it was about, I thought he was trying to bring up childish antics, but it was a childish antic. He's trying to relate it to how he made an anthem for January 6ers. I'm like, or he could have just made an anthem for Trump supporters. It doesn't just have to be January 6ers. Like, even the guy in the back of him looking like my man, this is a reach. Like, this guy in the back looking pretty concerned.
That beat them with poles. Tell them you're proud of what you did, Mr. Patel. They're right there. They're guarding you today. Tell them how proud you are.
That's an abject lie, and you know it. I've never, ever accepted violence against law enforcement. I've worked with these men and women, as you know,
you glorified it in song,
and I did not make a single dime out of it.
In song. Well, let me.
How about you ask them if I have their backs, and let's see about that.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Patel. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
If an FBI director promoted a song of people who sprayed pepper spray in the face of an FBI agent, would you say they were fit to be director?
Mr. Schiff?
Yes or no? Would they be fit to be director?
I am fit to be the director of the FBI.
If you were the
this man's the GOAT. He says, Mr. Schiff, I'm fit to be the director of the FBI. He's trying to bring up these hypotheticals, and he's like, bro, I don't care. Like, bro, I don't care. Like, you want to relate this to January 6th, bro? We don't care. You want to relate this to Trump and it being childish? I'm sorry, we just don't care. At a certain point, y'all called out so much stuff against this man. It's like,
we do not care.
How could you? Oh, God, it lost its hit. What can I say?
The FBI director, and you promoted a song with someone who beat an FBI agent with a pole. Would you say you were fit to be FBI director?
Mr. Schiff, I am fit to be FBI director based on my 16 years of government service.
And yet you did all these things, Mr. Patel. You can say, oh, I support law enforcement. I decry violence against law enforcement. You can say all that. It's what you did, Mr. Patel, that matters. It's what you did that matters. Well, let me ask you about something else that you did, Mr. Patel. Did you claim that Donald Trump declassified all the documents at Mar-a-Lago? Did you claim that?
In what proceeding?
To the public, ever. Did you tell anyone that Donald Trump declassified all the documents at Mar-a-Lago?
From publicly available information, President Trump issued a declassification order on a variety of materials.
No, I'm just asking you, did you tell the public, did you tell anyone, did you make the claim that Donald Trump had declassified those hundreds of classified documents that were at Mar-a-Lago? Did you make that claim publicly?
From my best of my recollection, I said President Trump issued a declassification order to a large number of documents.
Yeah, and were you present when he declassified all the Mar-a-Lago documents?
Senator, I'm not saying he declassified all the Mar-a-Lago documents. I said President Trump declassified a large number of documents, and I would hope this committee and the rest of Congress would want to get those documents to the American people.
Mr. Patel, before a president or anyone declassified documents, wouldn't you want to know whether making the public would cost sources?
And shout out Big Wave Dave, $2. He says, Schiff, why did you need a pardon? That is a good question. I would have flipped it back on him like, yo, yeah, why did you need a pardon, my boy? You questioning me this hard? Why'd you need a pardon? What about what you done? Your guilt, your responsibilities. But shout out, man, because I know he thinks I forgot about him. Shout out Guest Dude. He had this song he wanted to play a minute ago, honestly, but we'll hit him with that musical intermission.
me, we never lost control. You're face to face with a man who saw the world. No, not me. We've never lost control. You're face to face with a man who saw the world.
And shout out, guess, dude. That was a good one. I like that. It was smooth, melodic. Let's get back into that Kash Patel hearing because this was getting good. I don't know why, but dude was really trying to beef with him.
To be killed? Wouldn't you want to know that before you just declare they're all declassified? Wouldn't that be the responsible thing for a president to do?
It was the responsible thing for us to do. That's why we declassified the Nunes memo.
And did Donald Trump declassify?
And no one died.
And did Donald Trump ever ask any of the agencies who produced those documents whether declassifying them would put people's lives at risk? Did he ever do that to your knowledge, Kash Patel?
I don't know that he didn't. Do you?
No, that's the problem, isn't it? That's the problem, isn't it? So let me just ask, Mr. Chairman, if you would, Mr. Patel has said he has no problem. He would support the release of his grand jury testimony in that case. I would ask you, Mr. Chairman, ranking member, to join me in requesting, with Mr. Patel's approval, the release of those grand jury transcripts. And I would also ask Mr. Patel whether you support the release of volume 2 as it pertains to you of the special counsel's report. Any reference to you in the report, to your truthfulness, will you support the release to this committee of those sections of volume 2 of special counsel's report?
I support following the law and providing whatever information the law requires. I'd like to welcome my father, Pramod, and my mother, Anjana, who are sitting here today. They traveled here to get here from India. My sister's also here, Nisha. She also traversed the oceans just to be with me here today. It means the world that you guys are here. Jesse Krishna. I wouldn't be here today without their guidance, their unwavering support, and their relentless love.
Have you referred to the media as the most powerful enemy of the United States that they have ever seen? Is that right?
Again, you're reading a quote. I take that you're reading it accurately.
HTC 22324. You said we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens who helped Joe Biden rig the elections. We're going to come after you, whether it's criminally or civilly. Is that something you said?
That's a partial statement of what I said.
Steve Bannon's podcast. You also said you would put the entire fake news mafia press corps on your list. Is that correct? Is that what you said?
I don't have that in front of me.
Benny Johnson's podcast, 82123. You have said that the
Not the future leader of the FBI, the director of the FBI being judged off of what he said on a podcast. Like, that is some 2025 ass shit. I'm not gonna lie.
FBI, including today, you said that they remain utterly corrupt. This is an agency with agents who have taken down terrorists, taken down bank robbers, taken down crime. And you wrote that the FBI has become so thoroughly compromised that it will remain a threat to the people unless drastic measures are taken. Do you know that under Chris Wray's leadership, he took over at a very difficult time, we all know that, appointed by President Trump, that during his tenure, the applications to the FBI has in fact tripled? Do you think people would be applying to that agency like in those numbers if they thought it was so corrupt?
The American public.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would, because the word around town is that, oh yeah, you get in there, you get six figures just to sit around all day. You get 6 figures, you ain't got to do no damn investigation. Like, I mean, there's there've been a lot of FBI who came out and said that, yo, we got a lot of people in there that don't need to be agents. Don't do anything. We need to actually send them on actual cases because they're taking up 6 figures a year for no reason. So yeah, that's actually a concern.
Public's trust in it is at 40%. That's an all-time low.
Did you say that the FBI headquarters should be shut down and reopened as a museum of the deep state?
Mr. Chairman, are we allowed to go an extra time?
Let's see, you get a second round. Before I call on Senator Lee.
Could he just answer the question if he said that the FBI headquarters where they investigate cybercrime and terrorism should be shut down and opened as a deep state?
Hey, Mr. Chair.
As a museum? Did he say that the headquarters should be shut down?
Mr. Chair.
I deserve an answer to that question.
I
He is
guess
asking to be head of the FBI, and he said that their headquarters should be shut down.
Mr. Chair, parliamentary inquiry.
You got anything you want to say, Mr. Patel, before I go on to Senator Lee?
We do not care.
Simply this. If the best attacks on me are going to be false accusations and grotesque mischaracterizations, the only thing this body is doing is defeating the credibility of the men and women at the FBI. I stood with them here in this country. In every theater of war we have, I was on the ground in service of this nation. And any accusations leveled against me that I would somehow put political bias before the Constitution are grotesquely unfair. And I will have you reminded that I have been endorsed by over 300,000 law enforcement officers to become the next director of the FBI. Let's ask them.
Mr. Chairman, I am quoting his own words from September of 2024. It is his own words. It is not some conspiracy. It is what Mr. Patel actually said himself. Facts matter.
You forget that you had 3 minutes in the next round to say what you just said.
Okay, I'll say them again.
You've committed that the FBI will not be politicized. So here's your first test.
Okay.
Will you commit that you will not tolerate the firing of the FBI agents who worked with the special counsel's office on these investigations?
Senator, I appreciate the time to visit with you.
It is a yes or no answer, and it is your first test.
Senator,
What?
every FBI employee will be held to the absolute same standard, and no one will be terminated for case assignments.
And I'm not going to accept that answer because
Bruh.
if you can't commit that those FBI agents will be protected from political retribution, we can't accept you as FBI director.
All FBI employees will be protected against political retribution.
Those individuals deserve to be protected from retribution. That was your first test. You failed it.
By saying all
that
FBI
is
employees should be
a-
protected?
That is a test of professional diligence because it is the measure of whether you will stand up and say no to the president if he gives you an unlawful or illegal order. Let me turn
Shut your bitch ass up, nigga.
I'm sorry.
to the J6 choir. You know who the J6 prison choir is, don't you?
It's been referenced earlier, yes.
And you know about the song that, in fact, you produced, you promoted, and you used to, as you put it, raise awareness and support for the political prisoners still locked in jail. Those J6 choir, were they political prisoners?
I don't know everyone in the J6 choir.
That's what you said.
That's
correct?
not how I read it, Senator.
This is your tweet. That's your whole statement.
Well, I'm
You
reading
won't
it
stand
now.
behind your own statements made in tweets, countless of them. As a matter of fact, as you put it to Steve Bannon on his show, then we went into a studio and recorded it, mastered it, digitized it, and put it as a song, now releasing it exclusively in the War Room. That was the J6
Like, I have no idea what you're talking
prison choir song.
And all proceeds were given away to charity to help
And you
families in
called
need.
them political prisoners. Julian Cater.
Like, way to say I did it, but I deny all the bad parts of it. It's like, okay.
You know what he did?
I don't know who that is, Senator.
Well, he's one of the J6 prison choir.
You seem to know more
And
about
identified
it than I do.
in a court filing. And you're saying now you don't know who he is? You glorified him and the rest of that choir? He's the one who sprayed U.S. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick with pepper spray. Officer Sicknick died
I'm sorry.
the next day.
That's not good.
Cater
But
admitted his violence. He pleaded guilty to assaulting assaulting a political officer, a police officer.
So he made a parody song glorifying January 6ers or something.
Yeah, it was like a political little.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. The death of those cops were always like a bit weird to me. Like next day, like I don't know. It's always he got sprayed in the face and then he died the next day. I'm like, I don't know, bro. There gotta be a little bit more to that. But hey, there were January 6ers who got arrested just for bumping into the police.
That's crazy.
So all types of.
Do you believe that
on that day
Julian Cater was a political prisoner?
Senator, I'm not familiar with this case. You seem to know a lot more about it than I do. And as I've said repeatedly, I will always utilize my resources to help Americans in need, which is what I was trying to do here. And I've never once advocated for political violence or violence against law enforcement.
Ryan Nichols also pleaded guilty to assaulting a police officer. He was one of the J6 choir. He pushed the crowd against officers, defending a door to the Capitol, and sprayed officers with pepper spray. Is Ryan Nichols a political prisoner?
Same answer, Senator.
How about Jordan Mink, another member of the J6 choir?
I don't know who he is.
James McGrew?
Well, hold on. January 6th choir? Like, hold on, they got a singing group now or something? Like, I'm surprised here. Like, what?
Political prisoner?
I don't know who that is.
Like, just say the group.
James McGrew pushed and struck officers and launched a handrail toward them. And you glorified him. You promoted and produced a song to raise money for them. And you now want us to believe you don't know who they are?
No part of that song or anything I've done in my 16 years of government service glorifies or advocates for violence against law enforcement. And the fact that you would be willing to say that in front of these people, the American audience, shows how much of a divide we actually have to restore a law enforcement that is constitutionally based, de-weaponized, and depoliticized. You have my commitment to do that. In your office, we had a lot of common ground. I'm committed to working with you on things like Section 230 and making sure the citizens of Connecticut aren't pillaged by Chinese fentanyl.
Oh shit!
I'm done, bro. He kind of just pulled his fake card. It's like, yo, you're being kind of fake right now. It's like, I was in your office. We were doing a whole lot of agreeing. I thought this was going to be easy. Yes, you're over here grilling me. Like, what is this, bro? What's this really about?
I welcome your statement, Mr. Patel, but it doesn't answer my question. And it doesn't go to your credibility in denying you know who these people are after. And I have to say, in this tweet and in others, I have a raft of them. I'm going to ask the chairman that they be made a part of the record, if there's no objection.
Whoa.
Without objection.
You glorified, you promoted, you supported these individuals. Ronald Sadlin, he struck an officer in the head, hand, and shoulders and grabbed another officer. Was he a political prisoner?
I don't know who that is, Senator.
Well, the simple fact is that you knew about the J6 choir. You knew what they did in assaulting and endangering police officers who sought to defend the Capitol on that day, were severely injured, and some, as a consequence, died. I think the FBI deserves better. The men and women in the FBI put their lives on the line every day. I've worked with them as United States Attorney for 4.5 years, and then as Attorney General off and on for 20 years. I've admired them for the 14 years that I've been in this body. I think they deserve better. Thank you.
Since you became a legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
No, Senator, I have not.
Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement relating to this kind of conduct?
No, Senator, I have not.
Mr. Patel, you have been a champion of the January 6th prison choir. You have stated that the choir's members were quote, incarcerated as a result of their involvement in the January 6, 2021 protest for election integrity, end quote. One of the choir members is Julian Cater, who pled guilty. He pled guilty to assaulting officers with a deadly weapon. On January 6th, he attacked Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick with pepper spray, and the next day, Officer Sicknick suffered from 2 strokes and died. Mr. Patel, was Mr. Cater